Bedwetting can be a frustrating and aggravating problem, but I know how to solve this, and I'm going to give you 5 steps today for how to stop bedwetting at age 7. Before I get into the 5 steps, quick background. My doctoral dissertation was on bedwetting. That's why I know some things about this. Bedwetting is something that we start to get serious about around age 7. You might think, we should really be addressing it before age 7, but actually, developmentally speaking, age 7 is about where we start to get concerned about it. All that means is that developmentally, you're still within a normal window if you're wetting the bed up to age 7. Now, even beyond age 7, there's a certain percentage of the population that continues to wet the bed. But at least from the perspective of a parent or a kid who is wetting the bed, we need to do something about it by this age. So 5 steps for you. Step number 1, stay positive. That's really surprising coming from Dr. Paul, the positivity guy. This is really important because the things that we need to do to actually correct the problem are going to be a little hard. It's going to take some work. No apologies for that. It's just the nature of the beast. Staying positive allows you to do the other steps that I'll be sharing with you. If you're having a hard time about how to actually stay positive, spend some time here on the channel. In fact, the introductory video as you come onto the channel talks about how to be positive no matter what. You can also link to Portable Positivity, which is a little mini book that I created about how to stay positive. And you can get a free digital copy right down there in the description. Just click on that link. Staying positive. That's step number 1. Step number 2. Keep the ownership where it belongs. This is where your child, that 7-year-old, gets to be responsible for the solution to this problem. Psychologically, this is really important. From a practical standpoint, what that means is we're going to define what the solution looks like. And I just simplify it by saying clean and dry. Can you get behind that as a parent? Clean and dry. That's your job. At the age of 7, children are very capable of this. Now, if your child is a little older, yeah, we're still okay. If they're a little younger, that's where we have to kind of gauge that child's development and their maturity to see if they're quite ready for this. But about age 7, you should be good to go in terms of turning over the responsibility for clean and dry to the child. Now, what does this mean? From a practical standpoint, it means that they get to do what's required to get back to clean and dry. If there's a bedwetting incident, that means you're going to be teaching them how to handle basic laundry tasks. For example, changing the sheets, changing their pajamas or getting into a clean set, making sure that they're cleaning up their body appropriately. All of these things get to be their responsibility. So at some point, mom and dad, you're going to involve your 7-year-old in this conversation. And you can even share this video with them. There are also other videos here on the channel in the bedwetting playlist. We actually have several other videos about this, so go watch those and that'll help too. Now let's move to step number 3. Wrap your head around the training program. I wrote an entire training program and process for kids who are struggling with bedwetting to help their parents move them through this. It's called Finally Dry, and you can connect to that at finallydry.info. There is a link in the description down below. That training program is available to you in an ebook that you can download. Just connect to it through the link. Get familiar with the training program. There are several aspects to that that are really important. And even though in this video we're not going into all the causes of bedwetting, you can get some of those on the other videos in the playlist. The training program is based on the primary causes of bedwetting, and the components for that training program require a little bit of review so that you're able to do those together as a family. So that's step number 3. Wrap your head around the training program. Get familiar with it. Bedwetting alarms are set up to sound an alarm whenever the incident occurs. Now, you might be thinking as a parent, but my kid never wakes up. Right, that's actually one of the causes of bedwetting. Deep sleeping is part of the problem. I don't expect the alarm to wake your kid up. I expect the alarm to wake you up. And that will be explained in the training program. We're going to do a classical conditioning approach. Do you remember Pavlov's dogs? If you've had a basic psychology class, you probably were introduced to Ivan Pavlov and the experiment he did with dogs, where he would ring a bell, ding, and the dog would salivate. Why would a dog salivate when you ring a bell? Because he paired the ringing of the bell with introduction of meat powder into that dog's mouth. The meat powder causes the dog to salivate, but with enough practice, the bell causes the dog to salivate. It's called classical conditioning. And part of what we're doing here with the alarm system is we're waking up mom or dad so that mom or dad can initiate the training sequence. With some practice, we get to the point where the alarm wakes up the child, and with even more practice, we get to the point where the internal alarm, those feelings that come up from the bladder, wake up the child. That's why we need to have an alarm system. Go to Google or Amazon, simply search for a bedwetting alarm. There's probably dozens of them there on the market. Find one that's within your price range, but what we're looking for here is something that will pick up the accident as soon as possible. The ones that I like the best have a moisture sensor that is either built into or can be inserted into the undergarments of the child. Those are going to be the most responsive and give us the best training effect. So find and secure or order or purchase a bedwetting alarm system. You're going to need it for the training program. This is another reason why you want to do step number 3 and get yourself really familiar with the training program. Step number 4, get the alarm system. Now let's go to step number 5. As a family, set a date, plan and prepare, and go for it. When I say set a date, I mean for the intensive training night. You'll understand what that means once you pick up the Finally Dry training program. The intensive training night is where we do a lot of preparation before bed, and then we have a specific protocol that we're going to follow through the night. You will not get very much sleep that night. That's why I want you to plan it out. You want to pick a time where there's not school the next day or a lot of important things going on the next day. Maybe a weekend or even a holiday or an extended time where there's not a lot of commitments the next day because you're not going to get a lot of sleep. Now, on subsequent nights, it's not going to be quite as intensive. The whole process takes about 3 weeks. You need to be ready for that. So don't start into the training until you know that you can go through and complete it and do what's required to get that training effect. There's a lot of hope. You can do this, and I've seen a lot of success with this program. Let's give it a try. This program works. I have seen this change the lives of families by helping these kids finally get on top of this problem. There's a lot of hope. Connect with me or send me a message if you have any questions as you move forward with this.
I saw her standing in the street alone. Her head was down, face locked.